All right, Cypress, welcome to today's organic chemistry experiment. It's very official. I've got my lab coat on. I've got my safety goggles that I'll put on at the appropriate time. I've got some gloves just in case things go sideways. We'll have video evidence if I somehow burn down the school or horribly disfigure myself. Cross our fingers, that's not gonna happen. Alex B., cross your fingers, that's not going to happen. Don't wish for that. I've got my eye on you. All right, so what we're going to do today is this is a test for sugars. And we'll get into more specifics after the experiment. But for right now, all you need to know is we are testing for sugars in substances. And we're going to use Ehling's solution. This is Ehling's test. And to start off, we have two substances. We have Ehling's solution B, which is this clear liquid, and Ehling's solution A, which is this light blue Windex looking stuff. And we need to mix equal parts of these to create Ehling's solution, combining these two things. So I'm gonna put on my gloves before I get started. I don't wanna ruin my hand modeling career. And I've got my beaker here, and so I'm going to do 50 milliliters of each. For you math geniuses, that will give me 100 milliliters of total solution. So I'm going to pour this in here, and let me get a good angle so I can see. And I'm going to measure from the bottom of the meniscus. If you don't know what the meniscus is, if you look at a liquid, it has a thin layer at the top of surface tension, and that is called the meniscus. So when we're measuring, we need to specify if we're going from the top of the meniscus or the bottom of the meniscus. I like saying meniscus a lot. And so I'm going to measure the bottom of the meniscus with both solutions. Oh, pretty. And we went from Windex to this beautiful blue color. And we need to stir it up a good amount to get the solution totally mixed. It is truly a beautiful color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up 4 test tubes, about a quarter way full. So if that's half, we're going to go about a quarter there. I'll use my handy dandy syringe. These gloves are not the easiest to work in. So that's at least a quarter full, if not more. And I'm going to do that for all 3. Whoa, got a little carried away there. All right, so we have 4 test tubes filled with ehling solution for our test. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add some boiling chips. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. They're not chips like you want to eat at all. These are to prevent the solutions from boiling over when we heat them. It raises the boiling temperature so that we can get the solution nice and hot without it exploding out of the test tube and going really poorly. So I'm going to put a couple boiling chips in each one of the test tubes. All right, that should be sufficient. So when we're doing an experiment, we always want to have a control. So if I'm testing for sugar, then I need to test for something that I know does not have sugar in it, so that I can make sure that the test doesn't just do the same thing no matter what I put in it. So I'm going to start off with cornstarch as my first ingredient. There is no sugar in cornstarch. So when we do this test, we should have no results. I want to go crazy with it. So I'm going to shake that up a little bit so it mixes. Cornstarch, as you probably know, really sucks up the liquid. It's what you can use as a thickening agent when you cook. If you're making gravy or something like that and it's all like thin and watery, you put a little cornstarch in and it thickens it up. And it's doing its job. Hopefully that's mixed enough that it'll work for our purposes. And another control is we know there's sugar. This is one of the cuties, and this is another cutie. So this is a cutie orange, and we know it's got fructose in it, so it should have plenty of simple sugar in it. And so we definitely should get a reaction out of this, so that's part of the control. It's a known quantity. And I'm just going to squeeze this here. I'm going to make a terrible mess and get orange juice everywhere. Science is fun. So we can see the orange juice. It's kind of separated. I'll stir it up. And now we're back to almost original. A little darker, a little less see-through. That's to be expected. And then I'm going to wash all the orange juice off my hands. So we've got our thing that we know does not have sugar. We have our thing that we know does have sugar. And then I got a couple weird ones that could possibly have sugar. This is minced onion. It smells delicious. I cut it up at home. So I'm going to put some minced onion into test tube number 3. Hopefully that's enough. And I will shake that up some. So here's the clear one. So again, we've had a little bit of change, a little cloudier. That's to be expected, but still blue. That's the important point. And then the last one is one I was just kind of curious about. And this is Ladybird's dog food. And this was one of the suggestions for this experiment was pet food. And so I was curious to see if there is sugar in her dog food and kind of how much. And of course, she gets only the finest, high quality dog food, so hopefully it's not just full of a bunch of sugar. Let's shake that up. Let it soak in there. Definitely darker, less see-through again. We'll let that one sit the longest and then it'll kind of soak in and soften up that harder dog food. All right, now for the fun stuff. David, settle down. I know we're gonna be using fire. You are not to use a blowtorch at home, David, without parental permission and supervision. Time for some goggles. There is a little bit of danger with these test tubes. They've been used a lot and some of them are not the highest quality and they have been known to kind of explode a little bit. Hopefully we don't have that. So I'm going to start off with the orange juice because I want to see what the actual reaction is going to look like. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here heating up the cornstarch for a long time, never knowing when it was done or not. So I'm going to turn on the blowtorch. I'm going to start heating this up, going up and down, kind of making it even. Aha! We have a reaction already. Ooh. We've got some orange forming, pretty bright orange. Trying to boil a little bit. I can see the bubbles coming up, but those boiling chips are doing their job. Whoop! Ah, you almost got me. Just as I was praising those boiling chips, they decided to quit working on me. It's called jinxing it. Okay, so that is the reaction we're looking for when we have a simple sugar in there and we know it can be reduced and it can be found. And now we'll do our other control. This is the cornstarch. And if all goes according to plan, which it always does, I'll get this nice and hot and I'll be able to tell when it's heated up just by the little bubbles forming and whatnot. And we should get no color change. I can see some bubbles forming already. Kind of got a plug at the bottom of it, or at the top of it, where the cornstarch congealed a little bit. I'm going to try and poke it down in there maybe a little bit. Mix it up a little bit more. Okay, there's definitely cornstarch in the bottom now. It's boiling a little bit almost instantly. It's really going now. Oh, it's climbing. Start taking your bets on if I will make one of these test tubes overflow and go everywhere. I've got 10 on yes. No color change. So here's our comparison. Yes sugar, no sugar. So you know which one I like. And next up, let's make a little onion ehling soup. That's fun. I just realized failing is what some of you will be doing if you don't do your work. Ha ha ha! Different spelling. We got some color change here. That onion's floating at the top a lot. I'm gonna see if I can kind of get it to boil and mix together a little bit more. Whoa! All right. Did you predict that onion would have sugar? So here's our orange for comparison. It's a bit lighter of a color. And the onion's a much more darker orange, kind of an ochre color. But there is definitely some sugar in that onion. Did you think there would be? We don't don't think of an onion, especially a white onion, being sweet, but it is an organic thing. So there's lots of different types of sugars in many different substances. Our dog food is, I'm gonna wipe this thing off here. Very scientific. I don't want to contaminate my samples. Our dog food is soaking up the solution. Oh, you sucker, that thing is too wide. All right, I'm gonna suffice with shaking it up a little bit. You can all thank Lady Bird for sacrificing some of her food for your education. She was not a willing participant in that, though. Get a little bit of boiling. We're boiling pretty good here, and I don't see any color change. So I'm going to take that to mean we got some high quality, healthy dog food without sugar in it. It definitely got hot. It is still steaming and warming my fingers up. We have some solution left, so let's do a little bit more. Try something else. We've got some light corn syrup. You think there's a little bit of simple sugar in there? Maybe? Ooh, it's got real vanilla in it. Very fancy. Now that's fun. It's got a weird little thing going on. It's sunk all the way to the bottom and kind of mixed in there. It looks kind of cool. So I will mix that up a little bit. I'm seeing some color change. Getting that orange color again, a little bit of the green. that corn syrup wants to sit on the bottom quite a bit. So that was our orange, very dark compared to that one. That's the onion, pretty dark as well. And then our old friend, light corn syrup. For those who want to drink corn syrup but still maintain a beautiful figure. Lastly, let's do one last one. Oh, I didn't put boiling chips in those ones, in that last one. And none of you guys spoke up to warn me. Shameful. Starting to smell a little weird in here. It's a weird combination of stuff. That corn syrup almost has a little bit of that same smell that we had from the black foam monster. For our last one, let's take my favorite condiment, pure table sugar. I'm not going to eat this pure sugar on camera. I like it a lot. Mix it up real well. I'm gonna skip the boiling chip and just roll the dice. You only live once. I'll just be very careful. Got a little boiling going on at the top. Got some color change, but we're not getting the orange so much as we did with the onion and the cutie. All right, that thing is like fully boiling. Trying not to shoot it over the top. So we did get some color change, but interestingly, nothing like our light corn syrup here, or the cutie. So we'll talk about that more as we discuss our lab and our findings. Much respect to Bill Nye. He makes this stuff look easy. It's not that easy. There's a lot of prep work that goes into it.